North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, has an estimated population of nearly 26 million people and a population density of 215 inhabitants per square kilometer. Its capital is Pyongyang, its currency is the North Korean won, and it is located on the Korean Peninsula in Northeast Asia. It shares its borders with China and Russia to the north, the Sea of Japan to the east, South Korea to the south, and the Yellow Sea to the west. Since the end of World War II and the division of the Korean Peninsula in 1945, North Korea has followed a different political path from its southern neighbor, South Korea. Under the leadership of Kim Il-sung, who founded the country in 1948, North Korea adopted a political ideology known as Juche. This ideology, often translated as self-reliance, emphasizes national independence, strong leadership, and self-determination. Over the years, the Kim dynasty has dominated the political scene, and currently, Kim Jong-un is the supreme leader of the country, considered an infallible and virtually divine figure. Control is exercised through a single-party structure, the Workers' Party of Korea, backed by the armed forces. North Korea has captured the world's attention due to its mystery, isolation, and political peculiarities, leading to limited understanding of daily life in this country, restricted civil liberties, and the influence of the Juche ideology. That's why today we will take you on an extraordinary walk, more extraordinary than usual, as we will show you the official reality of life in North Korea. North Korea's economy is characterized by being planned and self-reliant. The government controls most economic activities, from production to the distribution of goods and services, determining what is produced and in what quantities. This approach has led to a series of challenges, such as a significant lack of diversity in the supply of products in the domestic market. The sanctions imposed by the international community, in response to nuclear tests and human rights violations, have exacerbated North Korea's economic situation by limiting its access to external resources, making it difficult for the country to import essential goods and technology. Additionally, the ban on the export of certain goods, such as minerals and textiles, has limited opportunities for external income and has made it difficult to obtain foreign currency. Despite these sanctions, North Korea has announced plans to increase its nuclear arsenal and the production of intercontinental ballistic missiles in 2023, as we will see later on. Through rationing and quota systems, the state controls the quantity and type of food that citizens receive. According to data provided by the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, access to a proper and varied diet is a challenge for much of the population, with an estimated 10% of children suffering from chronic malnutrition. According to a report from the United Nations World Food Programme, more than 40% of the population lacks access to adequate nutrition. Propaganda is a powerful tool in the daily life of North Korea. The government controls the media and uses propaganda to promote the image of the supreme leader and the Juche ideology. Citizens are constantly exposed to uplifting messages about the leader and the political system. Mandatory rituals, such as paying homage to the leader and attending massive events, reinforce the government's influence in everyday life. For example, the Day of the Sun, in honor of Kim Il-sung's birthday, is celebrated with fervor and mandatory participation from the population. According to the 2021 World Report by Human Rights Watch, the government tightly controls the media and access to foreign information. The media is state-owned and serves as tools of propaganda. Contents are filtered and manipulated to align with the official narrative. Internet access is highly limited and regulated, restricting access to international websites and government-unapproved content. As most information is filtered or censored, the population has a limited understanding of global events and external perspectives, creating an information isolation that reinforces the official narrative and hinders the formation of independent opinions. Censorship also conceals human rights violations within the country, preventing citizens from being aware of abnormal conditions and advocating for change. The lack of access to foreign media, including films, music, and literature, limits exposure to different cultures and perspectives, intensifying isolation. Nevertheless, independent sources and underground communication can provide valuable information about the country's situation through real testimonies. Cooperation between the Daily NK organization and the BBC to obtain testimonies from ordinary people inside North Korea allows us to learn about these two cases in June 2023, while keeping the anonymity of the individuals involved. The first case reflects how low wages in North Korea force women to find creative ways to generate income to survive. Before the militarized border closure due to COVID, the woman used to sell imported medicines from China, facing risks and bribes that significantly reduced her profits. Although she attempted to smuggle medicines, she was caught and now lives under surveillance. Her story exemplifies how economic restrictions impact the daily lives of ordinary citizens in North Korea. In her testimony, she maintains that she has always felt the pressure to support her family, but now this responsibility has become overwhelming due to the difficulty in finding products to sell, severely affecting her ability to generate income and survive. On the other hand, a man struggling to survive amidst food scarcity and high prices explains that he works in construction and earns $4,001 per day, equivalent to $4, which is no longer enough to buy a kilogram of rice. It has been so long since he received a government ration that he can't even remember the last time he did. North Korea has experienced long-standing tensions with both South Korea and the United States. Hostilities between North and South Korea date back to the Korean War, which persisted from 1950 to 1953 and concluded with an armistice rather than a peace treaty. These countries technically remain at war and have had several confrontations over the years. Tensions with the United States largely stem from North Korea's development of nuclear and ballistic missile programs, as mentioned earlier, leading to sanctions and punitive measures by the international community. The Japanese government has already been notified by Pyongyang about the launch of a rocket between May 31st and June 11th. Ri Pyong-chol argued that the reason for launching the satellite is the reckless aggression of the United States and South Korea, who have conducted constant joint military exercises. The rocket carrying the satellite fell into the sea minutes after liftoff, but the threats persist. Diplomatic and military tensions have shaped the perception of security and stability in North Korea. The government uses these tensions to foster a sense of national unity and justify its authoritarian regime, portraying other countries as potential threats. According to data from the 2020 Gallup World Poll, 93% of North Koreans distrust the United States. Reports from organizations such as Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have detailed systematic and widespread human rights violations in the country. It is estimated that up to 120,000 people, including children, are detained in labor camps known as Kwanliso. According to the UN Commission of Inquiry on North Korea, these camps are sites of torture, forced labor, and extrajudicial executions. Detainees are often imprisoned without trial and without access to proper legal processes. Restrictions on freedom of movement are severe, with the country having a residential zoning system that restricts citizens' mobility and prohibits them from moving without government authorization. These practices have been internationally condemned. In 2014, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution establishing a commission of inquiry into human rights abuses in North Korea. The resulting report detailed serious violations and crimes against humanity in the country, such as public and extrajudicial executions, as well as murders and forced disappearances of individuals perceived as threats to the regime. Evidence of forced labor in prisoner camps, with inhumane conditions and systematic abuses. Numerous cases of torture and mistreatment, both in detention facilities and in everyday life. Reports of sexual and gender-based violence, including rape and sexual abuse in detention centers. Systemic discrimination based on political loyalty and social class, resulting in significant disparities in access to resources and opportunities. And with these data, we have reached the end of our extraordinary walk for today. If you made it this far, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Until our next walk.